Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Alka Ranjan, a faculty at Department of Psychology, Jain Team to be University, Bengaluru. This conference is very much relevant in the present times. Our country faces many challenges in its bid to become Viksit Bharat, that is a developed country from a developing country. Attaining the sustainable goals created by the United Nations by 2030 is a step towards becoming Viksit Bharat. This conference focuses on sustainable goals, which is reflected in the conference themes given in question form. This way, we can assess the gaps and build sustainable solutions for the various challenges towards becoming a sustainable and Viksit nation. I'm indeed very glad to be a part of this conference. Thank you, everyone.
Myself, Dr. Jharna Ganguly. I am HOD of Arts and Assistant Professor of Psychology in Monarch University. My title is Quality of Life of Transgender in Relation to Age and Residence Area. The term transgender has been derived from the Latin word trans and the English word gender. Different sort of individuals come under this category. No particular forms of sexual orientation is meant through the term transgender. The way they behave and act differs from such people can be neither categorized as male nor female, and this deviation is unacceptable to society's vast majority. Trying to take out a dignified living is even worse. Stress is how we react when we feel under pressure or threatened. Objectives: the current study aims to test transgender's quality of life in terms of age and residence area. Method: the sample constitute total 60 transgender, out of which 30 were from age of 25 to 35 years from residence area rural and urban both, and 30 were from age of 36 to 45 years from residence area rural and urban both. Tools: quality of life scale developed by Sarika Sharma and Dr. Nakhat Nasrin. The scale consists of 42 items measuring quality of life. For example, life satisfaction, spirituality, goals and motivation, happiness, hope and wishes, stress reduction, adjustment, physical well being, and self care, personal development and frustration. Result and discussion. The results show that there is no significant difference between the mean score of high quality of life among the transgender of age 25 to 35 years and 36 to 45 years. But the lower mean score indicate slightly low quality of life among the transgender of age group 36 to 45 years, and there is significant difference between the mean score of quality of life in relation to residence area of urban and rural. Therefore, it could be said that transgender of urban group show high quality of life than transgender of rural group. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm presenting a review of Dr. Ganguly's research article on quality of life of transgender in relation to age and residence area. This paper focuses on the quality of life of transgender in the two age groups, that is 25 to 35 years and 36 to 45 years, which corresponds to the young and middle age adults in rural and urban areas. Previous research has focused mostly on the marginalization issues in transgender. However, this paper focuses on a positive aspect of their life in the community. Hence, it is very relevant, and the study has very useful implications as well. However, the study can be made more stronger on some points. Research studies can be included on the basis of which it will justify the hypotheses which are included in this study. Data collection technique can be mentioned, and the rural area from which the data has been collected can be specified. The results and discussion for quality of life in older transgender adults can be checked. Similarly, the conclusion and results for the two age groups can be checked accordingly. The APA format for the references can also be checked. Otherwise, this is a very useful and a very relevant paper. Thank you, everyone.
Namaste to all. I am Rathod Mridula Raghunath from Heartfulness Research Center, Mysore, a research scholar under the guidance of Dr. Rajeshwari Hegde. I am presenting on the topic Heartfulness Meditation Practice as a tool to balance material and spiritual aspects of life for excellence in work and holistic well-being. These are the contents. With the world in the crisis of number of existential threats to humanity, such as climate change, challenges to physical and mental well-being, etc., it is time for critical reflection on the fact that whether we are adequately addressing both the material as well as spiritual aspects of our existence. Heartfulness practice with its unique yogic transmission offers an efficient tool for harmonized existence and growth. As a bird needs both the wings to soar heights, balance in these two aspects is essential for our overall well-being and excellence in every endeavor. This paper, along with exploring the philosophy of heartfulness, also investigates its impact on neurophysiological parameters, demonstrating its effectiveness in bringing about relaxed and balanced state of being. As it is rightly said by Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Yogaha Karmasu Kaushalam. Literature review covers our ancient literature as well as modern research by scientists. Coming to heartfulness practice, there are 4 practices. Guided relaxation is the supplementary practice for the core practices of heart-based meditation. Cleaning process to get rid of or remove the emotional burdens and complexities in our system. Inner connect practice to help connect us with the higher presence within our hearts. All the details are available at heartfulness.org. Methodology. Pulse HRV by Camera app was used to record the HRV parameters before and after meditation for regular heartfulness practitioners in the age group of 40 to 80 years. Total 70 records were collected and the parameters measured were heart rate, HRV, RR average and high frequency power. This is the experimental design followed. Results and discussion show that 71.1% meditators showed positive effect, 15.7% showed non-favorable effect and 13.2% meditators there was no change in the values. The proper explanation for everything is given in the paper. The detailed values, the mean, averages, pre-meditation and post-meditation for all the parameters are shown here. As we can see, heart rate decreases after math meditation, indicating calming effect produced by meditation. The all other 3 parameters show proper rise in their values, which is desired because it indicates parasympathetic dominance, better capacity for physiological recovery and improved cognitive functionality. Conclusion. Regular practice of heartfulness helps smoothen out any turbulences in the field of consciousness caused by day-to-day activities. As the practice promotes balance between material and spiritual aspects of life, it helps foster holistic well-being, enhancing excellence in everything. The findings of improved parameters reflect the activated neural circuits associated with self-awareness and emotional regulation. These shifts in long run may contribute to integrity at body, mind and spirit level to experience harmonious existence. The meditation-induced states of consciousness may further be explored using neural correlates such as electroencephalography and neuroimaging-based studies. Heartfulness meditation practice can be introduced for students in junior and degree level colleges as part of yoga to keep mind focused and combating stress. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm presenting a review of Mridula's and Dr. Hegde's research paper on heartfulness meditation practice as a tool to balance material and spiritual aspects of life for excellence in work and holistic well-being. The research article is interdisciplinary as it integrates Indian knowledge system with the neurophysiological parameters. It also emphasizes the similarity between quantum theory and spirituality. The study uses an experimental design to prove the effectiveness of the heartfulness meditation. Adding a qualitative method component to the study will give further insight to the use of heartfulness meditation in day-to-day life. The language can be made more objective and specific, and the practical applications can be explained more and more in detail. Definitely, it is a very relevant paper which focuses on the Indian knowledge system. Thank you, everyone.
Namaskar, I am Ritu Gupta, a research scholar at RV University, Bangalore. I am excited to be a part of the virtual conference on SDG Goals 2030, Bridging Gaps, Building Futures of Viksit Bharat at 2047. What I wish to talk about here is the development of a construct on values, which I think is very important for bridging the gap for achieving the aim of Viksit Bharat 2047. To understand what values are, we have defined values as deeply held beliefs that guide an individual's decision making, offering a framework for understanding behavior and evaluating situations. It serves to empower youth, helping them to navigate challenges and overall development. Youth is synonymous with energy, creativity, and optimism. They have new ideas and perspectives. India has the largest youth demographic. If we can imbibe the right values, it can enable youth to act as vehicles of progress for the nation and become future leaders and change makers of a country. To highlight values like patriotism, civic responsibility, and social justice can influence you towards nation building. Integrity, accountability, and transparency can help them take ethical and responsible decisions. Respect, empathy, and kindness can help them foster relationships and sense of community. All this will help them become good leaders in future. Values being very subjective in nature, we need to have the right tools to be able to measure them. There are several globally available tools to measure values. We have used the Life Values Inventory for a study. We started with a pilot study and collected data from 156 participants on the 5-point Likert scale. Unfortunately, the data did not meet the reliability parameters, indicating a need for an Indian specific tool. This led us to develop a new tool from an Indian perspective. We used the standard scale development process, which mainly constituted identifying influencing factors through literature survey, developing a construct of dimensions and items that were validated by experts, followed by data collection and factor analysis. Post refinement, we got a new measurement tool, and this new tool has 5 factors: security, responsibility, adaptability, kindness, and integrity. In total, 17 items are present in this tool. Based on the new tool, an analysis of 622 respondents between the age group of 18 and 29 years was done, and it was found that impact of religion, gender, and area of study on values was on the expected lines. What was contrasting was there was no impact of age, marital status, and level of education, highlighting that through the course of higher studies and initial years of work life, there is no significant input on values. We need to look at strategies to help you to inculcate the right values during this period of their life to be able to make them into enable them to face the challenges of adult life. So the future steps involve the validation of this tool with a larger sample size and expanding the range of factors and introducing new items to improve the psychometric properties of the measurement tool. So this is all about my study. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to present my work here. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I'm presenting a review on Ritu Gupta's and Dr. Nair's research article on a conceptual construct for values. The paper addresses a very relevant theme on assessing values in the Indian context. The research gap has been appropriately highlighted. The steps of tool development and analysis has been explained very well. However, more research studies can be included in the Indian and Asian context on values. The socio-demographic details of the sample can be included. It can be specified whether the sample comprised of urban or the rural participants. The psychometric properties of the tool can be further strengthened by doing such reliability and validity tests as split half reliability and convergent validity. This tool is indeed a very much needed and a useful tool in the Indian context for values. Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Anju Beniwal, Assistant Professor Sociology, Government Meera Girls College, Udaipur. I'm delighted to serve as a session chair for India's biggest virtual conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2030, Bridging Gaps, Building Futures for Viksit Bharat at 2047. The role given to me to review the presentations of the participants is crucial for in providing valuable feedback and insights for the participants. And before that, I have to give a brief introduction of mine. I'm holding PhD degree in sociology, and I completed my master's in sociology and anthropology. My areas of interest are women studies, tribal issues, leisure studies, and I have 20 books published and more than 60 research papers published in various renowned or reputed journals. I have presented my views at more than 80 national and international conferences held in both within the country and abroad, like Hungary, Japan, Vienna, Canada, and I'm an active member of various academic bodies like Rajasthan Sociological Association, All India Sociological Society, International Sociological Association, Leisure Studies Association, NIVISA, and many more. I have served as a board member of RC13 of ISA, and I'm an associate editor of the International Journal of the Sociology of Leisure also, and I have had the privilege of offering my ideas as a keynote speaker in various national, international seminars, conferences, and webinars. And I have been honored with a state level of higher education award for my academic excellence, along with many more recognitions. About this conference theme, I believe that fostering collaboration across sectors is essential, and to bridging gaps and building a sustainable future, I must say. My insights focus on the importance of aligning innovative solutions with the sustainable development goals and ensuring inclusivity and empowering communities to actively contribute to shaping the prosperous and sustainable India, we can say by 2047. And together we can pave the way for a more equitable and resilient future. So it's our whole and soul responsibility to preserve our environment, to preserve our society for the coming generations. and this can only possible by doing uh, sustainable growth or sustainable development. And at the last, I would like to thank Arjun Dave sir, who is the director of Vedant Knowledge System Private Limited. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Pooja Aggarwal, Associate Professor, School of Management, BBT University, Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. I am presenting my research paper titled Empowering Equality, Integrating Gender Inclusivity into India's Vision for Viksit Bharat Act 2047 for the conference titled Sustainable Development Goals to 2030, Bridging Gaps, Building Features for Viksit Bharat Act 2047. The introduction of my research paper is India is committed to gender equality, is fundamental to its constitutional ethos and aligned with SDG, Sustainable Development Goal number 5. Despite significant progress in areas such as education and legislation system, disparity persists, hindering economic and social progress. Achieving Viksit Bharat Act 2047 requires integrating gender inclusivity across all aspects of development, fostering equitable opportunities for all genders. This research paper presentation outlines a comprehensive strategy encompassing policy reform, education, economic development, empowerment, healthcare, and governance. The literature review covers that research. This particular study highlights the correlation between the gender parity and economic growth. Initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao have improved female literacy rates undoubtedly. However, challenges such as wages gaps, underrepresentation in leadership, and regional disparities remain. Global frameworks like CEDAW and SDG 5 provide a foundation for India's gender equality strategies. This analysis builds on existing research to propose actionable reforms for a gender inclusive India. The objective of my study is to examine gender equality in India across education, workforce, healthcare, and politics using secondary data. To assess legal framework and initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and POSH to highlight structural, cultural, societal obstacles to gender equality, especially in rural areas. To recommend strategies to integrate gender inclusivity into India's vision for Viksit Bharat Act 2047. The research methodology which I have opted for my study is based completely on secondary data such as government reports, policy documents, case studies, articles, and newspapers. This study employs identifying trends and systematic gap in gender equality initiatives. Secondary data analysis says that data from the past decade highlights persistent gender disparity in workforce participation. In 2014, female participation was 29%, dropping to 23% in 2020 before recovering to 36% in 2024. Structural challenges such as caregiving responsibilities and hiring biases contribute to these trends continuously. Addressing these issues through flexible work arrangements, childcare support, and reskilling programs is critical to closing the gap. There are some of the policy frameworks and legal reforms included into this program, like existing framework like POSH Act, Equal Remuneration Act provide foundational protection but face implementation challenges. Proposed reforms include expanding gender sensitivity policies in emerging sectors, mandating quotas for women in legislative bodies, extending social security benefits to informal workers. Then after we have educational and skill development, where there are some of the initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao have improved rural enrollment rates for the girls. Program like Vigyan Jyoti has have increased female representation in STEM courses. And then after economic empowerment gives which include key strategies for enhancing workforce participation like flexible work arrangement and childcare support, expanding initiative like Manrega, and then Seva to empower informal workers, supporting women entrepreneurs through Stand Up India and regional mentorship programs. When we talk about health and well-being of the women, strengthening healthcare programs like Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana can improve maternal and infant health outcomes. Then expanding mental health and reproductive healthcare services is crucial, especially in undeserved areas. Then after increasing funding for one-stop center and fast-track courts can address gender-based violence more effectively. Then societal and cultural shifts are there. Mass campaigns to challenge gender stereotyped and integrating gender sensitivity modules in education can foster equitable attitudes. Engaging men as allies and addressing intersectional barriers faced by the marginalized communities are essential for sustainable societal transformation. Then technology may also play a very catalyst role to fill the gap between the gender disparity, like bridging the digital divide is critical for gender empowerment. Expanding digital literacy program and leveraging e-commerce platforms can boost women's economic participation. Data-driven policy interventions using AI and big data can refine gender equality strategies and enable targeted outreach. Then governance and its monitoring program may also play a very fruitful and strengthening role. Like gender responsive budgeting and robust monitoring mechanism are essential for the progress. Tools like gender disaggregated data and high level task forces can guide and evaluate policy effectiveness. Transparent reporting ensures accountability in achieving gender equality objectives. Here are some of the recommendations for this particular program. It may be strengthen enforcement of gender-related legislations, expand social security benefits for informal sector workers, establish fast-track courts for gender-based violence cases, enhance education and skill development opportunities for women, utilize technology to bridge systematic gaps and empower women. These measures align with India's vision for Viksit Bharat Act 2047. These are the references which I have used for this particular study. Thank you so much.
So here is the review of first presenter, that is Dr. Pooja Aggarwal, and her presentation was on empowering equality, integrating gender inclusivity into India's vision for Viksit Bharat at 2047. Her presentation was insightful and well structured, and she effectively highlighted the crucial link between gender parity and economic growth by providing a data driven perspective on the topic. Her analysis of gender equality across education, the workforce, healthcare, and politics was comprehensive, and the discussions of various government initiatives added practical value to the discourse. The use of secondary data strengthened her argument, though incorporating some primary data or case studies, I can say, could further enhance the depth of this analysis, and additionally, outlining measurable indicators of success in gender equality initiatives could provide clear guidance for implementation. And overall, her presentation was engaging and informative, contributing valuable insights to the discourse on inclusive development. I must say congratulations to Pooja Aggarwal for her wonderful presentation.
Hi all, welcome to virtual conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2030, Bridging Gaps, Building Futures for Viksit Bharat 2047. Hi, I'm Parminder Chaudhuri with 20 years of experience as faculty in food production. I am an MBA in HR, qualified learning facilitator from Switzerland. Relating Indian urban housewives' roles in achieving SDG 2030 and matching the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 is my main area of focus on my topic SDG 2030. Viksit Bharat 2047, Role of Indian Urban Housewives. The scope of this study includes the definition of SDG 2030, Viksit Bharat, Indian urban housewives, their nature, and how the Indian housewives are going to play the role in SDG 2030 and in the vision Viksit Bharat 2047. SDG 2030 is a framework with its unique articulation of public interest on a global scale. It was adopted by UN in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2030 all people enjoy peace and prosperity. It is an urgent call of plan. It is for the people, planet, and prosperity. These are the 17 SDG goals which we have to achieve as a world by 2030. It should be inclusive, it should have social equity, and it should believe on ethical values. Viksit Bharat 2047 is a vision given by our present government to make India self reliant, fully developed, and globally influential by 2047. Who are Indian urban housewives? The focus group for this article. They are married females who reside in urban households, looks after family, which is generally nuclear family. They concentrate on rearing children, cooking food, catering to the needs of the office going husband. They may or may not have hobbies. They may or they may not work from home. Also, they participate in decision making. This group is going to work towards SDG 2030 and Viksit Bharat 2047. As this video progress, we could see that. The following are the 8 SDG goals which the Indian urban housewives will be contributing towards. SDG 3 Good Health and Well-being, SDG 4 Quality Education, SDG 6 Clean Water and Sanitation, SDG 7 Affordable and Clean Energy, SDG 8 Decent Work and Economic Growth, SDG 11 Sustainable Cities and Communities, SDG 12 Responsible Consumption and Production, and SDG 13 Climate Action. They will be working towards environmental sustainability, education and awareness, health and well-being, building sustainable community, economic growth and entrepreneurship. Composting, sustainable consumption, waste management, energy efficiency, waste segregation, then saving water, conserving water, reusing, recycling, reducing carbon emission, then working towards first fuel, etc. These will be the ways they will be contributing towards the 8 SDG goals mentioned before. They will be contributing toward Viksit Bharat 2047 vision by promoting self-reliance, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Self-sufficiency they will achieve through economic activities, then strengthening social equity and inclusion. Then they can support technological advancements. They will foster cultural and ethical values in the families and children. They will be working on climate resilience and environmental advocacy, and also they will be enhancing civic participation. Thanks for listening. If there is any specific question or questions, feel free to ask. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Another presentation given by Mrs. Parminder Mitta Chaudhuri on SDG 2030 Viksit Bharat 2047 role of Indian urban housewives. Her presentation was impressive and she effectively linked Sustainable Development Goals 2030 with Viksit Bharat 2047 by highlighting the crucial role of Indian urban housewives. Her introduction to Sustainable Development Goals 2030 based on the principle of leaving no one behind set a strong foundation for understanding the interconnected theme of people, planet, and prosperity. A significant strength of her presentation was the identification of 8 Sustainable Development Goals that directly relate to urban housewives. By doing so, she demonstrated a well researched perspective on how this demographic can actively contribute to achieving national and global sustainability goals. Her use of secondary data provided a broad yet insightful overview, reinforcing the importance of urban housewives in shaping a sustainable future. A key takeaway from her presentation was the way she emphasized urban housewives' multifaceted role as caregivers, educators, resource managers, and active contributors to economic and environmental sustainability. Her discussion on their contribution to Viksit Bharat 2047 was particularly engaging, showcasing a forward-thinking approach to women's involvement in India's long-term development vision. For future research, I suggest to if she incorporate case studies or real life examples of urban housewives driving change at the grassroots level could add further depth. Or additionally, highlighting policy measures or initiatives supporting their empowerment would strengthen the practical implications of the study. Overall, Mr. Chaudhuri's presentation was thought-provoking and well articulated. It successfully shed light on an often overlooked segment of the society, that is, urban housewives, and encouraging meaningful discussions on their potential in nation building. Her work serves as an inspiration for further research on gender and sustainability in India's urban landscape. So I would like to congratulate her for a wonderful presentation. Thank you.
So my research paper is Strategic Growth Framework for the Indian Economy and Evaluation. So basically this study proposes a strategic growth framework aimed at improving the sustainable economic development in India by focusing on certain areas like social equity, infrastructure and industrial growth. This study mainly focusing on providing the support for marginalized communities and also for how to enhance the agricultural income and also focusing on empowerment of small scale industries through the self-help group. So this is actually a study which focused on a framework which provide the foundation for the inclusive progress in Indian economy. It of course giving the importance of human capital development through expanded access to higher education. So definitely there are certain factors contributing to the GDP, so higher education and how the tourism has to be developed. All these areas are actually coming as the growth drivers of Indian economy. I have given more emphasis on all these areas through my model. This is one of the model which actually given from the inspiration from Kerala's successful approach to the human capital development. So this study also focusing on certain policies to encourage investment from the Indian diaspora, which annually contributes over $100 billion in remittances. So definitely investors of India can attract additional funds into critical sectors like infrastructure, technology, education, which will definitely help to accelerate the Indian economy's growth. By adopting all these strategies, India can definitely evolve from predominantly service-oriented economy to a global hub of entrepreneurship and innovation. That's the main focus for the India's development over the next 25 to 50 years. And this model definitely envision India as a leader in the global economy. Definitely it will capitalize on the human capital and strategic investments for the sustainable growth of the Indian economy. This is the key area which focused on this particular research paper. So my study actually developed a certain type of model and which focused on a framework also. So basically it focused on certain areas and how the food grain production can enhance. What are the strategies to enhance the food grain production? And next one is how we can support the small farmers through financing methods, and what are the mechanisms to support the small scale farmers, which is very important. That is also focused here. And farmers producers organization is one of the basic concepts that has been developed here, and that also is very important factor which come here. And SHG, self-help group, and special package for small-scale industry, that is also focusing on this. And spice exports through FPOs, that is also coming under this area. Road networks, seaport infrastructure, how the infrastructure development can be made, all these areas are covered in this paper. And finally, this paper is basically focusing on developing a new model for India's economic growth, emphasizing the protection of marginalized communities through infrastructure development and enhancing farmers' income. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Greetings of the day to all the esteemed delegates and the panelists. I'm Dr. Jyoti Kukreja, Session Chair with India's biggest virtual conference based on bridging gaps and building futures. Highly thankful to Vedant Knowledge Systems for providing this esteemed opportunity. Well, moving ahead, I have this opportunity to review the paper, which is coming from down south part of the country. That's Tamil Nadu. That's from KCT Business School, written by Dr. Suraj Sir and Subbarao Sir. The paper is titled as a strategic growth framework for India's sustainable economic development, which is much in alignment with the conference theme. Well, going ahead, that yes, this paper presents a comprehensive approach, presents a well-structured framework for India's sustainable economic development, which incorporates multiple dimensions such as social equity, infrastructure, industrial growth, and definitely human capital development. A lot of emphasis has been paid upon the self-help groups, that's inclusion of marginalized communities, which is definitely required into alignment with India's development goals. So not only the self-help groups, but small-scale industries, and how can agricultural income be enhanced? Well, this is all discussed. Coming up with the pivotal point wherein the highlight of the critical role of education, drawing from the Kerala success model, has been discussed with importance for how can India have a long-term economic transformation through the development of its young workforce. Well, the suggestion to attract investments from Indian diaspora has also been well-founded and is in alignment with the global best practices. Well, not only that, various sectoral interlinkages has also been shown here, and a clear roadmap from education for the development in the perspectives of the policymakers is also attempted. Well, the literature review is extensive with the more than 25 research papers highlighted and cited. So this brings about the historical context of the content that the researchers have really put forth. Well, these have been the positive aspects, and however, I find some gray areas which definitely can be improved, and therefore, for the publication purposes, it can make the paper better and robust. So while a lot of qualitative insights have been shared, I would have appreciated more for the quantitative projections, just in case this paper would have made, wherein you could have highlighted the estimated GDP growth impact, and you could have also drawn a distinction or a comparison with the world's economies, so that we can have the global roadmap shared. Why? Because we are all global citizens by the end of the day. And drawing that distinction of various global economies would have given the paper more comprehensive approach. Well, not only that, there's also a limited discussion that I find on the implementation of policies. So, what could be the potential roadblocks, such as political resistance, bureaucratic inefficiencies, or socioeconomic barriers? So, in case this could have also been brought in, I would have found the paper more robust for consideration for publication. Well, going ahead, that yes, there is investment feasibility that you talked about, but the concerns such as taxation policies, ease of investments, regulatory barriers that deter NRI from reinvesting in India. So, in case you could have talked about that as well, the paper would have been more objective in its approach. At the moment, it is more descriptive. Well, to talk about While tourism is mentioned as a potential growth driver also, in case I would say you could have provided some strategies to enhance the contribution towards current GDP. So that could have made the paper rather more strong. Last but not the least, I find the literature review is still 2020 only. Now we are almost half a decade ahead. So I would rather request you and suggest you to please ensure that the references are more recent. So, well, with these sectoral interdependencies, that you've really come up with an integrated discussion, I find the paper having a strong scope for improvement as well. So, with this, all the best to the researchers and to all the esteemed delegates. Thank you once again, Vedant Knowledge Systems, for this esteemed opportunity. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Nitesh Raj, and I am the Assistant Professor in University Department of Economics, Ranchi University, Ranchi. And the topic of today's presentation is that access to higher education and the shift towards skill development, that is a critical analysis of government policy in relation to the Indian knowledge systems. So, this paper examines the claim that the central government is making access to higher education more challenging by encouraging universities to become self-reliant. So, the shift towards reduced public fundings and rising tuition fees risk rendering higher education unaffordable. So, especially for students from middle and lower income backgrounds. So, as a result, youth are increasingly being directed towards skill development programs and entrepreneurship initiatives such as Startup India as alternatives to formal education. So, this paper further explores the broader economic implications of restricted access to education, including declining consumer demand, growing students' debt burdens, and the urgent need for effective government interventions. So, additionally, it analyzed how the Indian knowledge systems can complement both higher education and skill development. So, fostering a balanced approach that integrates traditional wisdom with modern economic needs. So, uh, I have started this with the help of this paper with the help of this introduction part, that is higher education has long been viewed as a pathway to personal and national development. However, recent government's policy in India appears to restrict access by requiring public institutions um, such as IITs, IIM, and central universities to reduce their reliance on state funding and manage their own finances. So these policies have prompted to an increase in tuition fees, potentially including students from disadvantaged backgrounds. So this paper critically examines the implications of such policies on students, society, and the economy. So it also suggests possible solutions to address the challenges arising from these policy shifts. Access to education plays a crucial role in shaping economic growth, socially mobility, and national development. However, the policies governing access to higher education in India suggest a shift in priorities, with the central government increasingly promoting self-reliance among public universities and institutions. So traditionally, the state supported these institutions to ensure that higher education was accessible to a larger segment of the population, so including students from economically weaker background. So recent directives, however, signal that institutions such as the Indian Institutions of Management, Indian Institute of Technology, IIM, IITs, and central universities must generate their own funds, reducing their reliance on government aid. So this transition towards financial economy raises questions about the sustainability of accessible higher education. So as universities increasing tuition fees to cover operational costs, the affordability of education becomes a major concern. So currently, public institutions offer public institutions offer programs at highly subsidized rates, but future increases could render education unaffordable for students from middle and lower income groups. So, for instance, courses that currently cost between 2 lakh to 5 lakhs may soon rise to several lakhs. So, creating financial barriers that restrict access to higher education for many. So, the implications of these policies uh, extend beyond education. So, if fewer students can afford higher education, many may instead turn to vocational training and skill development programs. While such programs align with government initiatives like Startup India and can promote entrepreneurship, so they also reflect a shift in how employment and economic growth are envisioned. So, limiting access to education could exacerbate income inequality and reinforce a system where only privileged sections of society uh, benefit from advanced learning and related career opportunities. So, objective of this study is to analyze government policy on higher education accessibility, to assess the impact of reduced government funding on universities, to investigate the consequences of limited higher education access, to explore the link between education cost, income, and social mobility. I have also framed some of the research questions and literature review I have done for this, and research methodology is that the study employed qualitative research designs to critically analyze the impact of government policy on access to higher education and the shift towards skill development. And data analysis I have done, some mathematical models I have applied over here, as well as the if we are talking about the policy overviews, that is increased funding for higher education, like India's National Higher Education Mission 2017. The skill development programs, we have Germany's dual education systems. Example is that scholarship and financial aid, like the United States Pell Grant programs are theirs. Policy reforms for inclusivity, that is example the African Union's Agenda 2016. Um, Challenges and critics are also theirs. So a lot of examples are there that the government policies that are going to making a major concerns for the people of lower and middle income group people. So impact on education for lower and middle income backgrounds is very high. So that's why the shift towards skill development and entrepreneurship is taking place. So there are various points and proposed solutions are also made that promoting equitable economic growth, and for result and discussions, as we are very much concerned about that. So we have the impact of key government policies on access to higher education, like National Education Policy 2020, reservation policy, skill development initiatives, and enrollment trends and access to higher education, shift towards skill development and entrepreneurship, economic consequences of limited access to education, and role of public investment and quality of education, long-term implications, policy reforms and solutions, and mathematical model like key government policies impacting access to higher education in India. So variables are government policy index, enrollment rate, financial and availability, tuition subsidy, etc. And I have also explained with the help of so many models like institution.
Greetings of the day to all the esteemed delegates and the panelists. I'm Dr. Jyoti Kukreja, session chair for India's biggest virtual conference based on bridging gaps and building futures for the year 2047. And here we align the UN Sustainable Development Goals to the country's development goals. I have this excellent opportunity to review the paper of Dr. Nitesh Raj, who is assistant professor from Ranchi University, Jharkhand. The paper is titled as Access to Higher Education and the Shift Towards Skills Development, a critical analysis of government policy in relation to Indian knowledge system. So when we talk about the right to education, yes, this paper deserves a mention. So very quickly highlighting all the key aspects of it. So wherein this paper presents a comprehensive analysis of recent government policies impacting access to higher education in the country, with a particular focus on shift towards self-reliance in universities and the promotion of skills development program. Dr. Nitesh Raj critically examines the financial and social implications of reduced public fundings for institutions such as IITs and IIMs and central universities, arguing that rising tuition fees could make higher education unaffordable for middle and lower income students. The paper further explores how Indian knowledge system can integrate and navigate with modern education and skills development initiatives for creating a balanced approach to employability and economic stability. Well, that these points really deserve a mention. I would like to say that this paper is effectively outlined and well structured in terms of analysis of the policy shifts that the government has granted. So, talking about that there is reduced state funding and the consequences of rising tuition fees, which can widen the economic disparity. by limiting access to higher education for underprivileged groups. So yes, this wherein the rich continue to get rich and poor still being poor. This is a cause of concern when we talk about the sustainable development of the country. Well, the paper not only examines policy changes but also evaluates their broader implications on social mobility, economic growth, and employment trends. So, the discussion on declining student debt burdens, of course, is not only going to make the economy stagnated but stimulated. So, this is a depth of analysis wherein the paper also highlights some of the key policies which help the students into getting the benefit of getting into the higher education zone. Well, escalating or not only on that aspect, but the paradigm shift that is being made from the theoretical perspective to the skills development, to talking now about what the paper highlights, the entrepreneurial development to support the Startup India campaign. So the paper in the bottom line talks about a significant aspect that it effectively discusses the need for holistic approach that integrates vocational training with higher education rather than one replacing the other. So yes, herein the paper has its robust aspect. Well, the stem of the issue, if I talk about, is not only about complementing the education with skills building initiatives, but with the technological advancements. So the traditional wisdom needs to be coupled with the economic and technological progression so that the economy can progress in total. Well, the government policies that you've highlighted. Now, I would like to make a shift towards the gray areas or the areas of improvement that can make the paper more robust for publication purposes. I'm sure this is the end that you're looking forward to. So firstly, there is lack of primary data on the student experiences. There are just 15 respondents that you've mentioned, but the demographic profile, the psychographics of all of them is missing, which weakens the credibility of research into your paper. Also, that you've mentioned that there is a thematic analysis which had been manually done, but there is no coding, nothing shared in total. So therefore, there's a very weak research methodological aspect that I see. Not only that, but when I talk about that, yes, you've quoted certain numbers onto the data that you've cited, but the source is missing. Again, that reduces the credibility and authenticity of the paper. The third aspect is that I don't know why, but you've compared Germany and US to India. Well, according to me, in case you would have taken up emerging economies, let's say Brazil, China, Russia, so that would have given a more comprehensive view to the entire study that you've brought in here. Well, there are so many limitations that you've mentioned, and likewise, there are 14 recommendations. However, there's limited discussion on public-private partnership that you've mentioned as one of the objectives of the study. So yes, that key aspect is missing. Last but not the least, ensure that there are just 6 references. The more the references, the more robust the paper is and higher the credibility. So yes, into the academic world, we operate on integrity. And yes, looking forward to more research insights so that we can look forward to publishing your paper sometime. Well, thank you again, Vedant Knowledge System, for this esteemed opportunity, and all the best to all the presenters. Thank you.
Namaste. I am Dr. P. Raghavendra, Assistant Professor of Philosophy at Bangalore University, Bangalore, with a PhD in Philosophy from Karnataka University, Dharwad. My research focuses on socio-cultural crisis in India, combining classical Indian philosophy with contemporary issues. I specialize in classical Indian philosophy, Indian logic, and yoga. I have authored several research papers and edited books. And I have received notable awards, including a gold medal in philosophy and the President of India Award, and also Karnataka Rajyotsava Award. Additionally, I am actively involved in international philosophical and yoga communities and hold leadership positions in organizations like the International Congress of Social Philosophy and International Congress of Yoga and Spiritual Science. I am also a practitioner of yoga and martial arts, holding a black belt second dan degree. Dhanyavad.
Dear ones, Namaste. This is Priyadarshini, research scholar from Heartfulness Research Center, University of Mysore. I'm here as a part of India's biggest virtual conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2030, Bridging Gaps, Building Futures for Viksit Bharat 2047. Through this paper, I'm attempting to address the most alarming issues concerning sustainability and environmental changes. Modern living standards have advanced significantly, yet issues continue to worsen. Our growing desires and excessive consumption have caused a lot of damage to the ecosystem. It is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2, verses 62 and 63 that when desires are not fulfilled, there is disappointment. Disappointment leads to anger. Anger makes us lose our balance. And once we lose our balance, we are destroyed. Heartfulness Global Guide Daji presented this concept in the form of an equation. Happiness is equal to number of desires fulfilled divided by total number of desires. What does this equation convey? The more the desires, the lesser the happiness. Imagine when we have zero desires, limitless will be our happiness. One more challenge to be addressed in this context is excessive consumption. Concepts such as Nishkama Karma and Yajna from the Bhagavad Gita potentially address the current climate issue and reduce excessive consumption. Another important principle to be honored here is mutual dependence. All living beings are mutually dependent. Unless this principle is thoroughly understood, sustainable solutions cannot be developed. Gita has beautifully articulated the concept of mutual dependence in shlokas 14 and 15 of chapter 3. This concept can be integrated in the education system by connecting with food chain and ecological system. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavah yajnat bhavati parjanyah yajnah karma samudbhavah karma brahmodbhavam viddi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishthitam. Beings exist from food, food from rain, rain from yajna, and yajna arises from dutiful actions. Action originates from the Brahman and Brahman from the imperishable. Therefore, the omnipresent Brahman is eternally present in yajna. What we need to understand here is yajna is not merely a ritual, but it is about performing selfless actions with noble ideal. I would like to bring another interesting concept, zero thought footprint, the 18th Sustainable Development Goal, proposed by Alain de Vigne in his article, The Elevation of Consciousness Through Meditation for Global Harmony. He raised a pertinent question, why we haven't been so successful in implementing the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that officially came into force in 2016. He says, by elevating the collective consciousness, we would be able to achieve the 17 SDGs with ease. Scientific studies show that humans have 10,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day, with over 95% repetitive thoughts from the day before and more than 80% being negative. So, how can consciousness evolve in such a disturbed inner climate? One of the ways to address this alarming issue is by adopting heart-based meditative practices that help us still the mind, which in turn lead to expansion of consciousness. The heart is where we are all connected, where we naturally feel oneness. Heart-based meditation with yogic transmission infuses us with love, transforming relationships and fostering a sense of oneness. This paradigm shift enriches our lives and supports collective progress toward achieving the 17 SDGs, ensuring global well being. I invite all of you to join me in this transformative journey to create a better future. Thank you. I am expressing my heartfelt gratitude to Vedant Knowledge Systems for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Namaste. The research paper entitled Achieving Heartful Coexistence Through the Principles of Bhagavad Gita and Heartfulness Practices by Priyadarshini G from Heartfulness Research Center, Mysuru, effectively conveys the idea of attaining a deep, sincere, and compassionate way of living in harmony with others, rooted in the spiritual teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and heartfulness practices. This article provides a thoughtful and insightful exploration of the principles of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and their potential application in addressing contemporary challenges, particularly in terms of sustainability, coexistence, and personal well being. The connection between ancient wisdom and modern environmental issues is well articulated, offering a fresh perspective on how spiritual teachings can guide us toward more mindful, responsible, and harmonious living. This article is well structured, starting with a philosophical foundation rooted in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, progressing into practical applications. The integration of heartfulness practices further enriches the discussion by linking the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita to current issues like overconsumption and environmental degradation. The article effectively bridges ancient wisdom with contemporary global concerns. The practical steps on reducing desires, the concept of less is more, and the importance of mindfulness through meditation are clear and actionable. The suggestions add real value to the reader's understanding of how they can personally contribute to sustainability and well being. Overall, this paper presents a powerful, timely message about the importance of living in harmony with the nature and the self. By adopting the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and incorporating practices like meditation and mindfulness, individuals can contribute not only to their personal growth but also to the collective well being of the world. Miss Priyadarshini, keep up the great work in bridging the ancient wisdom with modern times. Your approach provides a much needed perspective in these challenging times. All the best. Thank you.
Hello everyone, greetings. I'm Dr. Sunil H, Assistant Professor of English, working at Dr. Subhas University, Junagadh, and I am really happy that Vedant Knowledge System, they have given me an opportunity to chair the session. I really appreciate all the papers were quite good, and they were theoretically and ethically, they all were written well. I really congratulate all the participants and the presenters, those who have participated in the conference. Thank you. Keep presenting the paper. We are doing well and contributing to the educational society in India. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you.
Hi, I am very much delighted to present my paper in this biggest virtual conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2030 with the theme Bridging Gaps, Building Futures for Viksit Bharat at 2047. The title of my paper is harnessing the transformative power of applied theatre to foster speaking skills among tertiary level students, a pathway to achieving SDG 4 for Viksit Bharat 2047. The recent COVID has profoundly reshaped education, challenging traditional classrooms practices and compelling educators to innovate. With a shift to online learning during lockdowns, many students have struggled to transition back to conventional in person education. Therefore, this study explores the impact of applied theatre on enhancing English speaking proficiency among tertiary level students in Bangalore. The findings reveal that this method significantly improves fluency, expression, creativity, and confidence, effectively addressing post pandemic educational challenges. Applied theatre also fosters inclusivity and collaboration, aligning with Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is quality education by promoting equitable quality education for all. I have done an extensive review of literature and come out with the research questions. How does the incorporation of applied theatre activities impact the speaking skills? To what extent does the use of applied theatre as a pedagogical tool influence the overall engagement and confidence level of students? What are the current possibilities and future prospects of utilizing applied theatre as a pedagogical tool? In what ways can educators adopt customized and applied theatre practices aligned with the vision of Viksit Bharat? I have made the research design including quantitative and qualitative methods, and the study was conducted among the participants, about 27 students of BTech from a very renowned university from Bangalore. The result was very surprising and very much satisfying. The research highlights the transformative capacity of applied theatre, emphasizing its pivotal role in cultivating speaking skills among tertiary level students. Through innovative pedagogical applications such as the Character Cafe activity, applied theatre demonstrates substantial promise in enhancing linguistic fluency. Beyond its educational scope, applied theatre emerges as a powerful tool for societal transformation as well. This approach not only enhances individual competencies but also aligns with sustainable developmental goal 4 by promoting equitable and quality education. The institution of applied theatre as a foundational pedagogical strategy can shape well-rounded individuals, proficient in oratory and socially conscious, thus laying the groundwork for a thriving, empowered India. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to present my paper. Thank you.
Greetings, Dr. Sunil there, and I'm going to review the paper which is written by two authors. The first author, Ajesh C, who is a research scholar in English language teaching from Reva University, Bengaluru, and the second author, supervisor, Dr. Supriya Semnol, who is also a research supervisor, and both have written this paper. The title of the paper is Harnessing the Transformative Power of Applied Theatre to Foster Speaking Skills Among the Tertiary Level Students. It's a pathway to achieving SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 4 for Viksit Bharat 2047. Here, that they have tried to use a tool as one applied theatre during the COVID-19. They have written well. I really appreciate the paper was quite significant because they have put the research questions and they were quite relevant. Like first one, how does the incorporation of applied theatre activities impact the speaking skills, including fluency, expression and creativity of the tertiary level students in the post-pandemic educational setting? Yes, in the paper they mentioned some analysis where the students from beginning to the end they are improving their fluency level. All the analysis graphs were displayed well. I really appreciate. Second, what extent does the use of applied theatre, a pedagogical tool, they have used applied theatre as a pedagogical tool, how does it influence overall engagement of the students and develop the confidence level among the students within beyond a traditional classroom environment? Yes, I really appreciate that every students at the end of the theatre, they have used the very nice tool and they started speaking. In fact, the dialogues, they are improving the dialogues from beginning to the end. Third, yes, I really accept because it is a pedagogical tool and the person is mentioned in the bibliography. Fourth, in what ways the educators can adopt and customize the applied theatre. They have mentioned it quite well because they experiment the students and it was quite well. It went quite well where research design has been already given. They also put that how the what kind of the role every student is playing, what is the age, what are the challenges also they put it, and the personality trait they have also put. So that's a really good that every students will come to know that how such character, their attributes of the character can be inherited. That's a really good. 27 male and 6 female they mentioned, total 33 students. They from the BTech first SEM electronics and communication engineering students, they have experimented. Experiment quite went well. I really appreciate because they put the figures, 4 different figures, and it shows the analysis and also provide the conclusion that every student has improved the communications, they build their confidence, they enhance their vocabulary, better public speaking, soft skill development. In fact, they remove the overcome the stage fear and improve the speaking behavior as a professional speaker. So many more things are there. I really appreciate the paper quite went well and that person has put the futuristic goal. It means what in future, what kind of things that expected by using pedagogical tool as a applied theatre. So I really appreciate paper was quite well and mentioned the near about 20 bibliography and it was according to the format. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Chirag Sharma. I am serving as an assistant professor in Government Arts and Commerce College, Thara. In this virtual conference, which is titled A Multidisciplinary International Conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2030, Bridging Gaps, Building Futures for Viksit Bharat 2047, I am presenting my paper. The title of my paper is Honor-Based Violence, a contextual analysis of pink, past and lipstick under my burqa. This is going to be a film analysis as all the 3 films are released in 2016. Sustainable Development Goals, known as SDGs, in the form of 17 global objectives, were declared by the United Nations in 2015. With an aim to address interconnected global challenges, these goals are part of the 2030 Global Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. SDG goal number 5 calls to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls according to the United Nations with the target of ending all forms of discrimination, violence and exploitation of women and girls everywhere. Further, the first target of SDG 16 speaks for the reduction in honor-based violence known as HBV, which includes not only murder or killing but even physical, psychological and sexual violence. The present paper aims to study how HBV is depicted and examined in the films Pink, Past and Lipstick Under My Burqa in the Indian context. There are many concepts, arguments, and ideas layered in the narratives of these films which can lead to some solutions for the reduction of HBV. The paper also scrutinizes all kinds of discrimination, inequalities, and unlawful behavior women undergo in their daily lives for the attainment of SDG 2030. All kinds of violence against women must be identified and resolved at the earliest. The films of this study portray the hardships, questions, and conditions of women realistically living in modern India. The condition is such that it requires the utmost attention and remediation in the Indian subcontinents. The film Honor based violence, as portrayed in these films, provides a critical insight into the cultural and societal expectations placed on women. Pink uses courtroom battles to highlight how society often blames victims, while Past examines the stifling limitations imposed by marriage and tradition. Lipstick Under My Burqa critiques the hypocrisy surrounding societal double standards regarding female sexuality. These films challenge the audience to reconsider their perceptions of honor and gender roles, advocating for a more nuanced understanding of women's experiences. HBV is deeply rooted in patriarchal structures that patronize male honor over women's autonomy. A multifaceted approach that includes legal reforms, community education, and media representation should be advocated to combat HBV. Another important and visible aspect in the film is the need for solidarity and friendship among women in the face of HBV. Each film underscores the bonds formed between female characters as a means of resistance and support against oppressive structures. The realistic portrayal of women's struggles and transformative journeys in the narratives can further inspire real life movements for gender equality and social justice. At last, man must understand that if women want pink past the lipstick under their burqa, it must be their choice. So, this is it. This is my presentation. Thank you.
Greetings. The paper which I am reviewing is written by Chirag Sharma. Basically, he is working as an assistant professor, Government Arts and Commerce College, Tharad, Banaskantha. He has written a paper on HBV, honor-based violence, a contextual analysis of pink, perched and lipstick under my burqa. These three movies. It's a film analysis, and depending on the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goal, he has written that global objectives has to be achieved, which is mentioned by the United Nations in 2015. That's really nice. The Chirag has done the film analysis well, and he put the four objectives, like he want to analyze the depiction of the honor-based violence in film. It was really well that he went with the qualitative research and did the analysis. Second, examining the gender equality also he has mentioned. So at the end we come to know that most of the gender which are feminine, so somewhere inequality can be seen in the old movies which is selected. Third, to bring out the solution for the reduction in any violence for the women particularly. So feministic approach that he has selected, but didn't mention some feministic theories on it. To promote gender equality and women empowerment, yes, he has mentioned few things, that how these things can be removed, how these things can be changed in the upcoming movie scripts and many other things. He has also mentioned few things like how the woman is being marginalized, how the voice of the woman is being suppressed, and he also mentioned that the socio-cultural conditions of women, how it is presented by the filmmaker as a feministic point of view. And yes, he has also mentioned that how the audience like it, That was really a nice point. I really appreciate he used the critical analysis and the comparative analysis too for finding the insights of every character and analyze it. That was really good. Yes, findings were also research objectives were achieved. I really appreciate. Only one suggestion is that bibliography was very less. If he has used some film analysis theory from which book that he has taken, so it would be really nice. Yes, the paper was quite profound, and I appreciate and I accept that your paper you have mentioned quite well. Thank you. Thank you very much. No more suggestions. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. This is my research paper for the conference, which is India's biggest virtual conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2030, Bridging Gaps, Building Futures for Viksit Bharat 2047. So here is the abstract and the title of my paper. The title of my paper is Synergizing English Language and Artificial Intelligence for Sustainable Development Goals 2030 for Viksit Bharat 2047. The integration of English language and artificial intelligence, that is AI, holds transformative potential in addressing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. This paper, therefore, examines how the global prevalence of English as a lingua franca, combined with the innovative capabilities of AI, can serve as key enablers in advancing education, healthcare, economic growth, and environmental sustainability. Through cross-referenced insights, the paper explores their synergies and practical applications in realizing sustainable development. Now let us go through the introduction aspect of this paper. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by UN in 2015, outlines 17 goals aimed at ending poverty, protecting the planet, and ensuring peace and prosperity for all. Among the various tools for achieving these goals, the English language and artificial intelligence stand out as crucial instruments for global communication and technological innovation, respectively. English facilitates intercultural dialogue, access to knowledge and education, while AI offers data-driven solutions to complex global challenges. This paper explores the intersection of these two elements, focusing on their contributions to sustainable development goals such as quality education, decent work, and economic growth and climate action. The first point of this paper, therefore, is English in global communication, followed by English in education, followed by English in digital inclusion. And the second point is all about artificial intelligence as a catalyst for sustainable development, which incorporates AI and data-driven decision making, AI in education and language learning, AI in climate action and environmental sustainability. The third point focuses on the synergy between English and AI in achieving SDGs, that is Sustainable Development Goals, through multilingual communication through AI, enhancing global collaboration, addressing inequalities in access. And the fourth aspect of this research paper focuses on challenges and ethical considerations, which is inclusive of linguistic imperialism, AI bias, and inequality. That is a bit of a problem. And therefore, at the end, it can be said that the convergence of English language and artificial intelligence offers unprecedented opportunities to accelerate progress towards sustainable development goals. Thank you very much.
Greetings. I'm going to share the review, the suggestions of the paper, which is written by Dr. Vishal Pandya, and his title is Synergizing the English Language and Artificial Intelligence for Sustainable Development Goal 2030 for Viksit Bharat 2047. Yes, he has mentioned that how AI can be used and how AI is mandatory, how AI is transforming the education system nowadays. He has also mentioned some English as a lingua franca, also how it can be combined together and provide the innovative capabilities of an AI. Yes, he has also mentioned that he has used how AI can be used in the education, how education can be advanced for sustaining in healthcare department, economic growth, and environmental sustainability. These are the four different points that how practically it can be applied. He has put his own insights. He has also mentioned that Sustainable Development Goal 4 in English in education, how it is considered as a cornerstone. That was really good. Then digital inclusion also he has put it, that natural language processing applications, how it transformed the education, like machine learning. So that was really cool. He has also mentioned that AI in education and language learning. So AI can be used as a language learning and put a few references from UNESCO also. That was really appreciative task. I really appreciate. Then he put also climate action and environmental sustainability. Yes, for the climate also we need an AI, but though we need to think that the AI can be used and where the more energy will be needed. Recently, one of the conference was arranged just before 1 week at European countries, and then you find that people didn't come up with the solution to save the environment. People come up with one suggestions only, that the more use of an AI will lead to the more energy, and more energy will pollute the environment. So also it is one of the big thing, and you are working on it. Really, I appreciate. How can we enhance the global collaboration also? Yes, globally we need to go together. So that is also a good thing that you have mentioned. Yes, AI is biased. I really appreciate you put that point. AI is biased and inequality is already mentioned. Yes, because it is not humanized. If you use humanized, though it is remain biased only. I really appreciate at the conclusion you have mentioned that by collaborating various innovations in English and AI can really play a transformative role in achieving sustainable and equitable future. I really appreciate one suggestion is that there is less citation has been used, and only few latest like 2021, 2018, 2020. After Corona pandemic, what is the development of AI? Many books are available, many suggestions given by the European countries, British Council. They have prepared some AI rules, norms. If you mention it, that would be really cool. But I really appreciate your paper was really fine. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very warm greetings to all the dignitaries and researchers. I am Jayshree Mehta, Assistant Professor from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at Chaudhuri University of Science and Technology, Changa, Gujarat, India. Aligned with the theme of the conference, my research article title is Crafting a Sustainable Future, Literature as a Catalyst for Promoting SDGs. To begin with, the sustainable development gained prominence in the later 1980s, emphasizing economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental conservation. The Millennium Development Goals 2000 to 2015 evolved into the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) and the 2030 Agenda, addressing global challenges like poverty, inequality, and climate change. India plays a key role in achieving SDGs due to its population and economy, with Niti Aayog tracking progress through the SDG India Index. If I would talk about the literature connecting with SDGs, literature has been making efforts to make people aware regarding the this kind of issues which are discussed in SDGs. Literature has historically driven social change by fostering empathy and critical thinking. This paper explores the intersection of SDGs and literature, analyzing works that highlight issues like gender equality and environmental sustainability. I would like to here discuss different examples like Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, which critiques the environmental harm caused by chemicals, aligning with SDG 2 on sustainable agriculture. It emphasizes the need for ecological awareness and sustainable practices to protect nature. Another example I would like to discuss here, Arundhati Roy's The God of Small Things aligns with Sustainable Development Goals 5 on gender equality, portraying the struggles and of women in patriarchal Indian society. It critiques gender-based discrimination and child abuse, caste injustice, advocating for societal and legal reforms to empower women and protect the children. The novel underscores the importance of mental health support for trauma survivors and challenges readers to confront gender inequality. By examining these literary works, this research paper highlights literature's power to raise awareness, challenge norms, and inspire action toward achieving SDGs. One more example, if I would say here, Kim Stanley Robinson's The Ministry for the Future, that offers a visionary roadmap for addressing climate change and sustainable development. Finally, paired with works like The Uninhabitable Earth, The God of Small Things, and Silent Springs, and Ministry for the Future, I would like to conclude my presentation with the literature's role in addressing global challenges. By inspiring empathy, rethinking systems, and proposing actionable solutions, these works of literature demonstrate the power of literature to advance the sustainable development goals and envision a sustainable future. Thank you so much.
Greetings. I'm going to review a paper which is written by Ms. Jayshree Mehta, who is a research scholar from Chaudhuri Vidya Mandal University, working as an assistant professor. She has written a paper titled Crafting the Sustainable Future, Literature as a Catalyst for Promoting the Sustainable Development Goal. It's a really nice title because she has selected 3 books particularly and as a primary text and just doing a qualitative analysis for that. He has also mentioned that why do we need the literature has to be focused, and through literature use of that particularly selected books, how can we achieve the SDG. She has selected The Silent Spring, The God of Small Thing, and Ministry for the Future. Basically 3 the books that she has selected. Silent Spring, basically it's a plea for sustainable agriculture. So I really appreciate it is quite relevant because here you have mentioned that how the effect of chemicals on the environment and human life, how it has created, how the trees, birds and other things are affected. So really it was it was presented quite well. Second book, God of Small Thing, that's really one of the widely used book by Arundhati Roy. And here you put the one perspective to examining the increases of some caste. Yes, I really use caste, class and interpersonal relationships in India. And particularly in the time of after independence. So really the nice book that you selected. And here you have expressed and explored the new ideas like family ties, social traditions via different perspectives of some tween. 2 characters are there, we all know that. But the theme connects with the gender equality. It is Sustainable Development Goal 5 and it is really quite relevant. I appreciate that thing because that it is the context, Indian context, particularly in the state of Kerala. Third book that you selected, that was Uninhabitable Earth by David Wallace. I really appreciate because here you examine the effect of climate change again, and that Wallace particularly uninhabitable Earth, like talked about food shortages. Right now nobody is talking about it because it is one of the vital need. Yes, it is non-fiction book, but though you have mentioned it, it's really nice because nowadays non-fiction book or popular fiction has been used. Really, it's a good thing. and all the analysis that you did, particularly Ministry for the Future, for the literary blueprint and sustainable development, that was really nice. And you did the analysis, give the conclusion that by using such books, particularly literature is an essential tool, and yes, it can provide uncommon capacity to steer feelings and questions to conventional wisdom and motivate actions. That's a really nice. You mentioned quite big bibliography, 17 are there. I really appreciate. Congratulations, that was wonderful paper you presented.